Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you can submit your gaming or Battlefield 3 related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. If you'd like to submit your own questions to get the formalities out of the way, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by simply sending me a YouTube message, really whichever one you're most comfortable with. So the first question for today comes in from Aran Kar, who asks, I'm a little, if not very much disappointed that the only new weapon being released is a crossbow. I feel like they could have done so much more than just that. Specifically, I would wish for more pistols since they've done such a great job with primary weapons and they've already released in previous DLCs. Would you like to see more pistols added to Battlefield 3? So to be completely honest, I couldn't care less if they added new pistols into the game. And while I understand that a lot of people were a little annoyed that they didn't add more weapons for the Aftermath DLC, and people, they were like, hey, while the crossbow is a cool thing, it's really not a weapon that we were expecting, and we were kind of, we were looking for more. Maybe like in the Back to Karkin expansion pack, where they did give us like 10 new guns, which was awesome. But to be completely honest, regarding the pistols, there already is a huge variety there. I mean, you have the Rex, you have the Magnum, which are your heavy-duty, slow-firing pistols that if you get a headshot, they're going to do a lot of damage. And then on the completely other side of the spectrum, you have the MP443, which is a higher rate of fire, single shot, a lot of ammunition in it, which is going to give you more options if you get into some tight spots. And then you also have the semi-automatic, and then you have the automatic pistols as well. And so I don't really know what you're looking for here. It gets to the point where, and this is true for pretty much all the weapons in the game, assault rifles, LMGs, carbines, there are a lot of weapons in Battlefield 3, and while I don't think I would complain if they did add more into the game, it's really going to get to the point where you can't really distinguish between the guns because they're so similar that there's really no distinction, and it's just kind of like, why invest your time into adding more? But as the point right now, in just the way that they've already balanced the game so far, all the weapons really do 25 damage up close. It's going to drop off to around 18 at long range, and there's only so much you can do to kind of switch that stuff around. And I might make a video in the future to talk about damage models and the way that they could kind of switch that around for Battlefield 4 to make things a little bit more interesting. So I don't really see how adding more variety is really going to spice things up, because more variety really isn't going to really mean more variety. It's just going to mean slightly different stats on the guns that might change things a little bit differently. But in the end, a couple of weeks after the expansion pack comes out, what's going to happen is we're all going to gravitate back towards our favorite weapons. The new weapons, either they're going to be great and we're all going to use them, or they're just basically going to suck and we're never going to use them again. So while it would be kind of cool, I just don't really see the need for it. So the next question for today comes in from Paul R, who asks, I don't think I'm the only person who is annoyed by bad server admins kicking people just because you use a weapon or you kill the server admin. I do understand that they've rented the server, but I think DICE needs to keep their rules in place so when you rent a server, you play by the game rules and not being kicked by an admin for shooting a tank with an RPG. So the people who rented the server set the maps, the ticket counts, and as well as the game mode, and that's it. What are your thoughts on this? So yeah, I, like you, get just as frustrated when I get kicked by an abusive server admin. It's never fun when you go on a fun kill streak or you're just having fun with your friends, but you accidentally annoy or tick off the admin, and all of a sudden they just kick you for a random reason or even ban you from the server for a random reason. I mean, it's never a fun experience when you encounter someone like that, and I think that's kind of a given. But at the same time, I kind of give them some leeway because it is their server. They are renting it, they are paying money, and I really have I can voice my opinion and I can be like, hey, you're kind of being a dick, but at the end, it's their server. They're investing money into it. And at the end of the day, if they truly do abuse their power, no one's going to join that server. Everyone's going to be like, well, this is a terrible server. It's got terrible admins. People are really negative. Why am I going to spend my time on here when I'm just going to be kicked if I do well? So while there are server admins that do abuse their power, I don't think it's as widespread as some people might think it is. And for that very reason. And another thing thing is that, it's basically on the complete opposite side. You have people that are amazing server admins. They kick hackers. They try to make sure that people aren't exploiting bugs or just trying to exploit certain weapons at the time. The shotgun, or what was it? The underbarrel shotgun that basically was a one-shot kill at like any range. I can't remember what it was called. But people would abuse that, and then there were server admins that would kick people for abusing those exploits. And I love those types of servers and those types of communities. And so, I mean, while on the one hand you do have bad server admins, but on the other you have these communities that create amazing servers and amazing matches where games are fantastic. And really, if DICE didn't give players these tools, there'd probably be a lot more hacking. People would exploit things more often. You wouldn't get balanced servers, and things would probably deteriorate from there. So I think it's just kind of a necessary evil, and while you will run into douchebags like you do in life, you're going to run into some bad admins. But overall, I think most admins are nice. They want to create a better experience for everyone, and overall it's a good thing. So the final question for today comes in from RGM, who asks, in the Close Quarter DLC, on numerous occasions I encounter countless numbers of enemies camping in corners and behind objectives. Most of the time it is very hard to take out this type of enemy all alone unless you are very lucky. What if in Battlefield 4 enemies that remain motionless for over 10 seconds automatically become spotted, thus making your teammates aware of the enemy's presence? This will most likely cause your teammate to work together at once and take out the enemy. This will prevent camping and reduce frustrations. I would love to hear your feedback. So it's never fun getting killed by a camper. I mean, first of all, you died, so you're annoyed to begin with, because it's never the objective to die in a first-person shooter. And then when you see that the person who killed you got that kill because they were camping in a corner, it kind of just compounds on itself, and you get even more frustrated. So I do get where you're coming from, but I really don't blame the player for doing so, because I think it kind of it's on the developers. It's the fault of the developers for bad map design, because if you do create maps that incentivize camping, if someone's camping in the corner, they get a lot of kills, they're not dying very often because they're in their safe spot, they're going to continue to do that because they're getting positive feedback. They're getting kills, they're getting more points, they're having more fun because of that. They're going to continue to camp. So I truly believe that it comes down to bad map design, and because the close quarter maps, while there are a lot of routes and avenues and you can usually flank those campers, there are some times where it's just they're going to have the advantage almost all the time, and you're absolutely right. It is frustrating to try to take out those people, but at the same time, I don't think I would want to see this in Battlefield 4, or this mechanic where if you're camping in one spot for 10 seconds, all of a sudden you're spotted. Because camping is part of a first-person shooter. It's a strategy. I mean, if you are playing Rush and you are on the defensive team, you're going to want to camp. I mean, that's the name of the game. There really isn't a whole lot of ways for you to move. It's not a huge conquest map by any means. It's kind of a nice little funnel. You know where the enemy is going to be coming from, and you're trying to protect your lanes. And because of that, I don't think you should punish players for playing the game or playing those game modes how they're supposed to be played. And so, like I said, I think it really just comes down to poor map design. If maps incentivize camping by giving them some nice hiding spots that they can just take out a lot of targets without a problem and they're safe in that spot, then it's on the developers to try to create maps that don't have those problems. And I think it's mainly the close quarter maps. You really don't see this on the larger ones, simply because they're just so much larger. There isn't a good spot for them just to camp and get lots of kills. So I don't think this idea, while it's an interesting idea, I don't think I would want to see it in Battlefield 4. But yeah, those are all the questions I'm going to be answering for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. But before I go, I would love to know what you guys thought about these 3 topics. Let me know down below in the comment section. But if you guys enjoyed today's video or just want to support my channel, I always appreciate it when you give my videos a rating, share this with your friends, and if you haven't already, subscribe for more videos. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.